Hello, hello, and hello. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I know if you're watching me right now, you are in the right place today. This is the Coaches Lounge with me truly as your host. I love this particular platform every time I come on every Monday because I get a chance to meet and get to know and get to see the lighthouses of coaches, educators, and mentors that help you, that help me get to where we need to go. We always want to make sure as coaches and leaders, and I was talking to this wonderful queen before we came on, that we're always trying to, get that love, showing the care and making sure that, you're doing your thing and you're leveling up. But then I said to myself, I said, when does the coaches get to do that? When does the mentors get to do that? When do we kind of put that spotlight on them? And not so much as saying, hey, I'm the coach, da, 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 but saying, you know what? I want to make sure that you know where I am. You see me. We're getting the visibility so we can help even more people. See, that's what we want to do. And you want to get to know your coaches because you want to know who's coming into your life. This is a life-changing thing when you hire a coach and a mentor and educator, because now they're coming in and they're really seeking out to see where you can go next level. And I always tell people, most coaches stuff, people might disagree with me, but a lot of people, they see the future. We see the future. And I always say that because we see some things that you might not see. And we have to put that out there. Like somebody said, no, I don't know if I can do that. No, you can do that. Well, how do you know, Barbara? Because I see it. I see it in you. We just have to just, bring it up, just bubble it up. And that's where I say we know the future, because we always want to make sure that we're encouraging. There's a lot of things we do. So this platform is to spotlight those wonderful, amazing coaches out there. And I have one. She's a celebrity, and and I don't want to say she's not, because she is Mrs. And I call the women queens when they come on the show because I look at them as royalty. Her name is Lisa L. Baker. This lady is amazing. Now, I'm always, authentic. I just met her recently, and I feel that I've been knowing her for a while because I feel she's genuine. She has a heart of gold, and she wants to help people. And, usually when that happens, those are those lighthouses of the world. She's a lighthouse of the world. So with her, she has a wonderful, amazing company called Ascentim, and is an award-winning executive coaching and leadership development firm that helps high-achieve professionals and entrepreneurs leading boldly. I like that word, boldly, and live fully. And she's recognized by Inc. See, this is where the celebrity status. Okay, what's the young people say now? Those are the receipts. I know, I'm still trying to learn the language of the young. As one of the best in the business for coaching, career development, Ascentim is trusted by leaders and organizations who view leadership as their greatest strategy and advantage. Founded by the wonderful Lisa L. Baker, Ascentim equips leaders to unlock their unique area of greatness, the place where strength, passion, and purpose, she's talking my language with the purpose, align, drawing on more than 2 decades of Fortune 500 experience and the signature G.R.O.W. G.R.O.W. framework. And we'll get a little bit into that too. Ascentim guides clients beyond the grind of pressure, driven success into the freedom of purpose-filled leadership. The result? I love this. Leaders who transform themselves, their teams, and the space where they lead. Just reading that, I had to take a pause because I'm just looking at how awesome this lady is. So with that, I'm not going to even waste any more time on what I'm talking about because it's about her right now. I will be right back after this one video. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I'm a visibility and social media strategist. Oh my God. See, I love technology because they bring on people anywhere. With this queen, yes. Hi, queen.
Hello, good morning, my sister and fellow queen in the kingdom.
Oh, look at you. Oh my God. You're gonna make me cry. See, you always start me crying. We haven't even started the interview yet. You're already doing it. Well, before we even start, I always want to say this. I might not have a chance to say it within the interview because, like I said, we want to focus on what you're doing for the world. And within your intro alone, Queen, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the Coaches Lounge to share what you do and help so many individuals, especially in the space of leadership and the entrepreneurship portion, because it's needed. It really is. And you being that leader, so for so many years in building this, I just want to thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, you are welcome. It is truly my pleasure to be here. I'm always honored when I am invited someplace. People don't have to invite you to their home, so to speak.
Yeah, and then some people kind of just barging in sometime without making a phone call. But you know what? You can come in, barge in, whatever you want to do. I'm going to welcome you with open arms. So,
Thank you.
but
I feel the love and the warm welcome. Thank you so much.
thank you. So, with that, because I want to make sure, Queen, that we really focus on you, like I was saying earlier, it's really important for people to understand. And, it's another thing because, like I said earlier, you just don't want to hire anybody. You have to make sure that you're in sync with people that you bring into your world that's kind of helping you and guiding you as a coach, or educator. Because I always use the different words because there's different ways, but all in all, it just really we're just uplifting and making sure people are aligned in their purpose, as you said. So
Yeah.
with that, I know we're going to talk, and if we want to title this, if we want to title this, more growth, less grind, how to succeed without sacrificing yourself. Ooh, that alone is going to get people to be like, oh, wait, I got to listen to this. So before that, Miss Lisa, Miss Queen, how did you get to this point? See, I always like to pull the curtain because I know it was something. So how did you get to this point in your life?
Yeah. I appreciate you asking that. It was not easy, let me say that.
Mhm.
But the journey has been worth it. My
Mhm.
career started in corporate America, which you previously mentioned. I worked in Fortune 500 and larger organizations and worked my way up through the ranks, starting my career in financial services and spent a good time in that industry. So I describe myself as having a fintech background because I worked in financial services organizations that led with technology. I also worked for Microsoft for part of my career. And all of that was great. I was truly blessed to have a long and successful career in corporate America. But I came to the place in that journey where climbing the ladder even higher didn't have the appeal that it once had, where trying to earn more money. Well, listen, we all want to make more money, but it wasn't out of necessity anymore, because I was at a very senior level, earning an excellent salary, all the things that come with being a corporate executive in a large organization. But my heart was saying, is this really all there is? Surely there is more than this. And I didn't know what that more was or what would come, but my faith kept saying, it's time, it's
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
move on. And so I did. In 2021, in the midst of a pandemic, I left my good, cushy corporate job to do what I wasn't sure, but I knew it was time for me to leave. And shortly after leaving corporate America and having that downtime, that white space, the ideas just came, the downloads, the clarity that I needed to create what is now Ascentim, this award-winning coaching practice that I didn't even have the vision of when
Mhm.
I left. And that is unlike me. I don't typically move forward without a plan. I like
Mhm.
to have a plan A, maybe even a plan B. But I just knew. So for me, it was a leap of faith. And it's a
Mhm.
leap of faith that has paid off and is continuing to pay off as I evolve and grow. What I knew for sure, though, is that I wanted to bet on myself, that I had enough experience, in business, in leadership, that I would be just fine.
Yes.
And shortly after leaving, as I said, the ideas came and the calls started to come from people saying, hey, what are you doing now? Will you coach me? Will you mentor me? And then I started to realize and confirm for myself that the part of my career and life, frankly, that
Mhm.
I've always enjoyed the most is helping other people, helping them to grow, helping them to be the best version of themselves, pouring into people, yes, from a leadership perspective, but more the human that's behind the title, the role, and helping them to see the best for
Mhm.
themselves and then pushing them toward their purpose so they achieve it. So here we are. Now I'm sitting here in the coaches lounge with Queen Barbara.
Well, first of all, we got to unpack some things because I'm just sitting here just smiling and just I feel like this sister, just so proud of my sister because first of all, I have to commend you, and this is good for people to hear this. You bet on yourself, and you took that leap, and you said, you know what, it's time, and you like you said, no strategic plan at that time, really. We're used to, I'm like you, I'm in the same boat. It's like plan A and maybe a plan B and sometime maybe plan C. But you just said, you know what, this is something that I have to do. I have to bet on me. I know I have experience. I know I've been doing this. I'm at the highest level of the pipe here. So I need to, I'm not, everything is not feeling, something needs to be changed. See, you just felt like something there, and you took that leap and bet on yourself. And I just want to let people know, trust in you, bet on you. You have that purpose, like that Queen said. So I just need to put that out there because you did that and see what happened. See, when you bet on yourself and it's at the right time, you see how everything came for her. I mean, the phone calls were coming in. She was already getting clients already before we had a pandemic going on. I mean, come on now. And it still came together. So I'm saying all that, Queen, because I'm letting people know out there, there's no excuse.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm so glad that you emphasize that because, so many people are afraid, really, um, wondering all the what ifs. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail? How am I going to find clients? What will I really do? All the questions. And we're human. It's natural for those things to come up. But what I want to encourage anybody who will watch and hear this to do is when you have those questions that come up, those what ifs, don't just leave them out there. Answer the question. What if I fail? Well, what would failure even look like? How would I know I'm failing? More important, what does success look like? And what will I do if things don't go exactly as I planned them, or they don't happen in the time that I planned them? What will I do? See, in this way, you start to overcome the obstacles. You take the angst and the stress out of the fear because you've answered the question. You know what you will do if it happens. But
Mhm.
here's the truth. Most of those what if scenarios that we dream up, they don't ever come to pass. We think
Mhm.
the worst, we get all stressed out, and the thing that we've been worried about never even happens. So we wasted energy on something that wasn't even real.
Mhm.
The other thing I want to encourage you to do is don't just think of the negative what if scenarios. Think of some what ifs that are positive. What if this is wildly successful? What if I get more clients than I can possibly handle? What if I like this better than what I've been doing? What if this is what I've always been meant to do? And answer those questions too.
Mhm. I had to put a pause there for you. I told you, Queen, I'm gonna be sitting back taking notes and listening too. Sometimes I forget that I'm doing what they call quote unquote an interview. I just love to hear the wisdom and the knowledge, and everything that comes out of you as a coach and you just being a leader. Because I'm glad you said, what if it works? We're so easy to say, well, what if I don't, get the clients like you said? What if I, the money that I'm going to be missing the money that I had before when I was working in corporate, or, what if people look at me and say, why did you pick that as a company? All that going on. And we're not spending time to say, well, how about if it does work? How about there's clients waiting for me to come to do this? Maybe I'm holding back because now I'm holding back other people because I'm holding back. See, that's what we got to think about too. Yeah.
Yeah, that is excellent. There are people who are waiting for you to become who you're meant to be.
Mm.
They need what you have. And so when we play small, when we hold back on our gifts, when we allow those negative what ifs and fear scenarios to spiral, it can hold us in a place where we're stuck and we can't move forward. And in all that time, when we're stuck and not moving forward, not only are we hindering ourselves, but we are preventing the people who are waiting for us to be the one from receiving what they need from us. In fact, that's why we're here. That's why I talk about purpose. There's so many people who I've worked with and known, and even was this person at a point in my life, who are absolutely successful by all the standards that we might count as success. They have the role, they've got the title, they have the money, they have all the things, the home, the cars, whatever we call success, right? But all of that success has become a burden because now the pressure to continue to perform at that level elevates because we've purchased all the things, sometimes on credit. We now need to continue to earn at a certain level to pay for all the things. Then there are the real stresses of just living, being a human being in this world, right? The family, the life that we're wanting to lead that's calling to us and we can't quite get. All of that creates pressure and stress. And that's why I say to people that success is not the same thing as significance. We've been so busy chasing success that we didn't pause to think about, am I succeeding at something that is my purpose?
Yes.
Or am I just succeeding at what I've been told I should do, what I should want?
Yeah.
Because anybody who doesn't really understand purpose and its power might say things to you like they said to me, girl, if I was you, I wouldn't leave my job. What you gonna do? Oh, you don't know what you're gonna do? And you feel the judgment.
I mean, as soon as you said all that, Queen, I felt that. I heard that before many times, especially when you said the
Yeah.
They do that. That's even like, okay. Ooh.
Yeah. So here's what I want to encourage people to, that it's your purpose. Other people don't have to get it. They will understand when they see the results, right? So someone who may have said to me, girl, if I was you, I wouldn't do that. Right now, when you see that the coaching practice has won awards, that I haven't failed, I've made some missteps along the way. I've learned and grown from it. So that's not failure. That's called learning. That's called evolving, right? Now they're like, oh, that's what you do. Now they want to talk to you. Now they want to get your input. Now they want your help. And it's not to judge anyone. It's just part of how we are designed as humans. That fear that comes in, that those words that come from people that sound like judgment. If you really peel the layers back, they're actually trying to keep you safe. They're your own fears, even to say, hey, wait, maybe this won't be good for you. Maybe we should hold back, but bet on yourself anyway. If you don't, I mean, who's going to bet on you if you won't?
Yeah.
Why should anyone else invest in you if you won't invest in yourself?
Yeah, that's why I love when you said that, Queen. And sorry if I cut you off. I just wanted to say again, I'm glad that you brought that up because, like you said, who else is going to do it? It's you. You're betting on you. So you're going to make that jump wherever you need to make it. Plus the purpose driven. And I want to talk a little about it because you're in my space on that thing too. That's what I love to talk about. And I say to my clients too, you can have all the money in the world. You can be, going on trips and all that stuff. You can have the biggest title if you want to put the title on there, CEO of the universe or whatever. But if you're not doing your purpose and your heart inside of you is just inking for something, like there's something that's still missing, then you have to take that plunge because now you're not in your purpose. You're not in that zone where more things are going to flourish. That's going to be really just make a difference for not only you, but for so many other people. So I'm glad that you talk about that. Is one of the things, pillars that you mentioned within what you do, is that driven purpose, to transformation yourself into what you really should be doing. And some people are like, well, I'm doing my job, making money and stuff like that. I said, but are you really, there's something there that's, because I felt that way when I made my jump. I know you felt that way when you said I got to do, bet on myself.
Yeah, you are doing your job. You're, again, like I said, by all accounts, successful. But here's the thing that may sound contradictory to some. I think the biggest failure is to succeed at something that isn't designed for you. To be wildly successful and be off purpose.
That's a mic drop. That is good. That, I hope you're using that as a quote throughout when you talk to people, because that was, oh my God, that I can't say anything else about that. You are so right. I mean, you are so right on that, Queen. And I don't care what like I said earlier, you're not going to be happy until you get into your purpose-driven self. You just,
absolutely, to be your full authentic self. And that purpose is the key. And finding I describe your area of greatness, right? We all have one. For me, I define that as that place where your strengths, those things that you are good at doing, the talents that you have, the gifts that you have, where strengths come together with passion, the things that you love to do that light you up, that give you energy, and purpose. That's the part we often forget. The purpose is your why. What are you meant to do? Why are you here? Every created thing has a purpose. We all have one. And sometimes I think we get that word purpose can seem so big and grand with it. But sometimes there are many smaller purposes in the context of the big purpose, right? I'm purposed to be here today to have this conversation with you because somebody is going to need to hear what we're talking about, because it's going to help push them forward. That's purpose, right? But ultimately, my purpose is to help people become the highest, best version of themselves. I help people and things grow. Now, the thing is, I was partially operating in my purpose all along. I was helping big corporations to become even bigger because I make things grow. My superpower, like you said, I can see the future. I have the ability to see more for people often than they can see for themselves. And because I can see the future and see the possibility and the potential in people, then I can also push them toward it to help them grow and become. I was doing that in corporate America. Now I do that for the leaders and people that I work with. Because what I experienced and what I hear and see from so many leaders is they are worn out, they are exhausted, trying to hold all the things together, the demands at work, then feeling the guilt because they're not at home or with their family or doing things that they really value because work is taking so much out of them. Then we have the pressure that's coming from the world around us. People are worried about the economy, healthcare. All of these things create this pressure cooker that many leaders are in. And so they're constantly striving and trying to navigate these things. And frankly, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And so where I come in and where I help is to have people to connect with that area of greatness. What is your area of greatness? When you get in that space where your strengths, passion, and purpose all converge, it's much easier for you to operate on purpose. You can say no to things that don't serve you much more easily because you realize, oh, that's not for me. You let go of that comparison game that many leaders play. Oh, Barbara's doing this. Why am I not doing that? She's better. He's doing more. No, there's no comparison because you're operating in your unique lane on purpose, with intention, with confidence, using what you have. And it lets all of that stress and pressure fall away. Am I saying that life will be stress-free? Absolutely not. What I am saying, though, is that unnecessary pressure and stress that comes from operating in a lane that's not yours, from saying yes to things that you should say no to, that's what falls away. And you become laser focused. And that's where you can still have the growth, you have the success that you have always had, but it now comes without the cost of your peace, your purpose, or the people that really matter to you.
Yes. Woo. Again, Queen, I when people when there's just this knowledge and wisdom coming out, what can you say but yes, let me take the notes, let me get this, let me learn this. Queen is telling me some things. And when you were talking, Queen, it's funny already. I'm thinking of a lot of clients that I can send you because they're all dealing with this kind of thing, especially in corporate. And I see a lot of people in corporate because I work a day job, I work a corporate job, and I also have my own business. So I still see the things that you're talking about, that I see people that need to do that jump or bet on themselves, like you said. Just what came across when you were talking about the pressure and the burnout of what we go through, especially in corporate. Some people like, oh, you're in corporate, you should believe me, please. There's a lot there. And just my manager alone that I have on my job, she's been at the company for 30 some years, and they passed her up a lot of times. And she has so many gifts and talents and experience she's been doing. And she's been that company for 30 years. She's been other places. So really all together, she has like 50 some years of experience. And, every day she comes in and she's like, I always see, you can just see it. You can feel it when she comes in, that it's everything that's taken away from all the little spark that she had. It's like, it's dwindling. And I always tell her, I said, but so the day I told her, I said, you have to do what you have to do for yourself. No one else is going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I want to see that spark back in your eyes again. And I know a lot of people, family and friends and people, So she's like, but I have to, just like you said earlier, Queen, some people in their mind frame, they feel like they have to do this road of somebody that told them to do it, and they're just doing it, and they don't see like those other ways that you're saying, that you tell your clients you can go and make that jump. You can get to that driven purpose. But see, they were taught, and I know I was taught too, and I had to get out of that though, because I was not feeling my purpose. That you go to school, you get your degrees, you work amazing, you work ahead of the people, especially with us. I'm just saying, we have to do the extra at times, and you retire and that's it. So that's like
exactly.
That was like the lane thing back in a certain age range. That's what we were taught.
That is absolutely what we were taught. And again, we have to consider who was teaching us that lesson, what was their experience, and why was that their path to, let's call it, success. Doesn't mean it has to be yours. And you and I, Barbara, know as coaches, we're guiding people along the path that they're intended toward their goals, not ours. My path doesn't have to be yours. There are many ways, many possibilities to get to your destination. And that's where the framework you mentioned earlier, the G.R.O.W framework, comes in. It starts with the G in G.R.O.W is gaining insight. You need to get some information to get really clear about who you are, what you value, what you really want, right? What that purpose is. From that insight, then you can realize new possibilities. You can start to see what paths and options may be available for you based on this new insight that you have. And we talked about this next, overcoming obstacles, anticipating, doing those what if scenarios, and coming up with a plan to get you to the possibility that you want, to that future that you desire. And that's how we get to the W, which is winning in life, winning in leadership. And it's a cycle. It doesn't stop. That's why we ascend from one level to the next. You get new insight. You come up with new possibilities. You may anticipate other obstacles and challenges, and you create a plan to win. It's a continuous cycle of ascent from one level of growth to the next, from one level of success to the next, because we evolve. And what you did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it's probably not what you're doing. I hope it's not still what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I hope you've grown and become better and have more knowledge and wisdom than you had years ago, even yesterday. Strive to get a little bit better every day. And with those new insights, what will I do with that? Why is this information coming to me? Why am I being connected to this person? What is that inviting me to?
Yes.
That's the kind of thinking, that growth-minded thinking, that leads to continuous cycles of success, and that ultimately equals transformation.
Yes.
And that's the work that I love to do with people, to help them to get that clarity, come up with those possibilities, and then move toward it. When we were talking before, I mentioned one of my clients who was very successful, senior level leader in a sports and entertainment organization. And she had this dream about what she would do later, right? She had a name for a podcast that she wanted to host. She wanted to do coaching and use her learning and development, all these experiences. And it was all going to be for some future time. And I asked her one question, simply, what's one small step you could take now to get closer to that future possibility that you see for yourself? Now, for her, that lit a fire under her. Just that question. She's like, wait a minute, why am I waiting? Because so often we're waiting for when the kids leave, when I lose weight, when, whatever the when is, and that may never come. It may, but it may not. But what can you do right here, right now is really all that we have. So what can you do now to bring that possible future closer to you? That's the goal.
Yes. That one question that Queen Coach Lisa asked lit that fire under that wonderful, amazing client. And look at, she just soaring. She's soaring.
She is soaring. She created the podcast. She's in season 2 of the podcast. In fact, she's created a coaching platform and program. Her book is going to be released here this month. Like, just took off. And that is the power that we have as coaches, and just inviting people to go deeper. The answers are already in them. We really know, but so often the pressures and stresses of life push down that truth so far that we can't really access it, but yet we know it's there. When that thing that just won't let you go, it kind of keeps you up at night. It comes to you every now and then. When you have those moments of calm and quiet, it whispers to you. That's the thing that you need to listen to. That's the voice that you need to hear. That's the answer is in that space.
Yeah. That little voice like, let me out. Let me out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, and it came out for you, Queen. It came out for me. We want to work with other people and let that out. Those little voices that say, you can do this.
Yes, you can do this. When you are operating in your area of greatness, when you're leading with courage and confidence on purpose, right? All sorts of wonderful things flow from that. That area of greatness, being on purpose, that's when you are your most powerful and authentic self. And there is no competition in that space. There is no better Barbara Beckley than you. I know I am the Lisa L. Baker. Nobody can out Lisa L. Baker me. There's some other Lisas. There's some other Lisa Bakers. They're not me. They're awesome too. We're not in competition.
No.
We can lift each other up. We talked about iron sharpens iron. You're operating in your area of greatness. I'm operating in mine. Where we have some intersectionality, we can come together and do exponential things together. So we don't have to be in competition. And making that shift, just that mindset shift, this is, I am a unique creation with unique gifts, talents, purpose, passion, etc. When I operate in that on my purpose, that's it. That's the answer. Now, whether you're in corporate America, you're in a nonprofit, you start your own business, when you operate in that space, confidence flows, courage comes. That's where your power lies. That's when everything changes.
Well, you know, this iron, your iron just sharpened my iron. I know you sharpen a lot of other people's iron right now, because I'm seeing this sparkle. I was saying earlier, I said, you know, when you sharpen, it's really sharp really well. And then it goes ping. at the end. That's what you did for me and others. That little sping is coming out. And I mean, I have a conversation with you for, oh my God, Queen, but I know your time is really precious. And this gives me a chance to hopefully bring you back on for, volume 2, as I'm going to call it, of,
I'm
talking.
here for it.
You have so much to, the show, and I would love for you to come back on again on the Coaches Lounge. This would be amazing.
That I would be honored to do that. Remember, I said earlier, people don't have to invite you into their space, but if you get invited back, oh wow, that says something. That's good. And so I would be happy to come back at any time.
Oh, thank you, Queen. Well, before I know we basically hold up this wonderful conversation, I want to give you at least 30 seconds, just a little bit more. Any lasting thoughts you want to leave to the audience? Because I want to make sure they're getting all of the little golden nuggets that you have, and if anything that we might have left out. So I'm going to take myself down, and I'm going to give you the platform for a while.
Well, I appreciate this. Thank you so much. If you don't take anything away from everything that we've talked about, please remember this one thing. You do not have to grind yourself down, wear yourself out to grow, to have success. Success and significance aren't the same thing. So discover your area of greatness, operate on purpose. And when you do that, when you focus on what truly matters, you are your most authentic and powerful self. And that's where you begin to thrive and lead in a way that allows you to have success and significance without sacrificing yourself and who you truly are.
I was just like, I said, okay, I'm just going to keep listening. I was like, I know, Queen, I got to let you go. See this, I told you she's a celebrity. She's a celebrity. And I just want to remind people, and we said something, me and Queen Lisa said something before we came on, and I know we have to, close up. But one thing she said that really, like I said, she has a heart of gold for people is that, we're so busy trying to make sure everybody else, and we're loving and caring on you as a client or as a friend, even because, sometimes friends come to us sometime and ask us, certain things. And we kind of put ourselves to the, not saying that we're, downing ourselves, but we're so busy trying to make sure everybody else, we don't tend to us sometimes. And I told Queen, I said, well, today is a day that I want you to shine. Today is a day I want you to brag on yourself because you deserve it. And then also it helps people understand, hey, I want to work with her. I want her as my coach. If you're not seen and being visible at what you do, how are you going to know what coaches you need? So I hope I put a stamp on that today to let everybody know, hire this woman, reach out to Lisa. You see how she is. You see, that's why I want you to hear her, get her personality. You heard, get things that she's done. She has the receipts. Don't even, please. I mean, we read just me reading off and then her. So I just want people to understand that this is the place to understand the coaches I bring in to see if there's something that either you need or maybe somebody else. Go to that next reach. I always tell people. Some people stop there and say, well, I don't need that coach right now. Well, wait a minute. You know a whole lot of other people, and you might know somebody that needs this particular coach to come into their lives so they can be the lighthouse of the world, just like Lisa is the lighthouse of the world. So I just wanted to make that clear. Like they say, make it clear. And I'm going to put on the screen again how you can reach this wonderful queen. That is her basically website and her contact point. Lisa, did you want to add any other contacts besides that? I just want to make sure they know how to get you.
No, I think that is perfect. You can contact me as you see on the screen at ascentim.com. Go to my contact page. You can schedule a free consultation. Let's talk about it. I'm always happy to help where I can. That's my purpose. So if I can help you ascend to your next level, let's talk about how we can make that happen.
Make it happen, yeah. And as she said, and if you don't mind, Lisa, I have to use this for today. Bet on yourself. No one else can do it. Bet on you.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that said, everybody, thank you again, Queen. It was an honor, pleasure. And I'm just, you know what? I'm not going to close this. This is not like the end. This is just only the beginning of a wonderful, wonderful collaboration, and also to bring you back to the Coaches
Awesome.
Lounge. And anybody else, please, this is Spotlighting Experts Advice for Life and in Business. And I want to make sure that I can be that light to spotlight the other wonderful coaches. So if you want to come on the Coaches Lounge, please just reach out to me. And it's about you. I'm going to tell you straight up, this is not about me, it's about you. And so people can understand the coaches out there that can help others, because right now we all need to do that. We all need to lift each other up. So with that said, we'll see you back on the next Coaches Lounge with myself, Barbara J. Beckley. You take care.